Hurricane Helene showed me how vulnerable my homestead is to long-time power outages. So I spent a few $1,000s and I'm a lot more prepared now. This is what I did. Stay tuned to the end of the video for some tips and tricks that I learned that I didn't do that you might want to the next time your power goes out. So tomorrow I'm having a friend of mine who's an electrician come by and install an interlock kit and an inlet plug on both my home power service and my shop power service. This new generator I got will power my well pump. It's got plenty of juice to run most anything I need to in the house. Be ready. That's the whole thing I'm trying to do. I'm trying to be more ready. I love my little wheel horse collection. I also really like this Coyote. Well, that worked pretty good. I thought it was prudent to strap it to the pallet. Natural gas hose, got a little cover. This is really what I'm after, as well as this little funnel. Nice little funnel. So it should be this whole bottle, which is awfully convenient. If you want to love your life more, organize your sockets. Well, it's an 8mm, so that's fun. So there's a little oil filter in here. It's not much of one, but it is a heck of a lot more than most generators have. This is 10W30, which is oil I keep a lot of on hand. It's what pretty much all the small engines in my life run off of. Spyderco Spidey Chef in the pocket today. If you're looking for a pocket knife that will ruin other pocket knives for you, I would give that a shot. Drink it on up, machine. This feels very thin for 10W30. I do enjoy when manufacturers make it easy on users, like including the oil, including the funnel. You know, if they hadn't, it'd be no problem. But it is nice, it's like pour the whole bottle in. That is convenient. Good to the last drop. Probably don't want to like go nuts tightening any of these fasteners. Connected to the terminals, you just need to connect that there. If you have a problem moving one of these, you might want to eat a little bit more steak. I can't find my hand truck, and part of me just kind of wanted to prove a point. I'm gonna need an adapter. These were the Worthington Pro Grade tanks at Lowe's. So they were $225 a piece and it cost me 50 bucks a piece to fill them. So is that $450, $550 for this? 200 pounds of propane should hopefully run my house with this generator for like at least 2 days. I hope it's a long, long time from now when I can't pick up 175 pounds and walk around with it. There may come a day, there will come a day, but it is not this day. So I do my firewood in IBC tote, like this. These are some super cheap Harbor Freight ratchet straps. That worked about as well as I could hope. Now I know no one else's workshop starts to look like this pretty quickly, but this is not how I typically start my projects. It's the next day. It's a good day because I was able to get my table saw back from my dad today and help him with a project. We'll make it 36 inches wide. Kind of down, it really needs to be much sturdier than that, quite frankly. I reckon that'll work. Honestly, I think I'm just gonna use zip ties. I got some of these Icon flush cutters from Harbor Freight the other day. Boy, oh boy, that's a nice tool. I like that a lot. I think that's pretty much finished. I really like that. And wow, look at that. I'm pretty happy with that. Wow, look at that. Fits pretty snug in there, but not too snug. I think that'll be really, really good. Little generator shed. I do need to change the oil on this. I've probably got more money in screws than I have in materials for this. There is a power outage again for kind of an extended time, and you do have a big rain event. This should keep it dry enough to not have to worry about it. That was the whole point. That's my big one, and that's my little one. And together, along with the Ecoflow that I ordered the other day, form the basis of my Homestead backup power plant. So the future's here. 1 is none, 2 is 1, and 3 is even better. Spyderco Military 2 in the pocket today. I got one of these Ecoflows on their Black Friday sales. I think I paid $400 for this one. Yeet. Not that it really matters that much, but this packaging is actually really nice. This is like almost if Apple made a solar generator. This is the Ecoflow Delta 3. So 1,024 watt hours, up to 1,800 watts of power. It's actually quite a bit. But that's for a few reasons. One, as a more robust backup power source for my homestead, I am gonna get some solar panels for this, and it's my hope that I could run my freezers on it. Oh. What the? I think that legitimately just broke. So this is one of the things I've been using this Ecoflow for, is powering these little bird bath heaters to thaw out some of the waters on my chicken coop. It's been working great for that. I like this quick connect. There's a 50 amp Imlic box to an interlock switch. Cannot be flipped while this is on. So that's your safety device. So you don't backfeed the grid. It's really dangerous. It can kill people. You shouldn't do it. This is the first start ever. It's noticeable in here, like I can definitely hear it, but it's really not that loud. So that's pretty cool. So I'm gonna leave that ready to go for tomorrow. And even if we don't lose power, we'll probably do a little dry run tomorrow because it'll be fun, because it'll be snowy. Pretty pumped about that. So we didn't lose power in the snowstorm. Not losing power was not disappointing, but the amount of snow that fell was a little disappointing. I'm still gonna use this opportunity as a chance to shake down my Homestead backup power equipment and start with the big generator. Half full. On. I don't think 20-pound tanks work in the cold. That's good to know. I'm trying to avoid putting gas in it so I don't have to drain it after this break-in, and I don't want to use too much of the propane in the 100-pound tanks because that's kind of my emergency backup. They say you want to do a generator break-in at about 50% of the load, turn on a few things inside till we get to that point. So I can hear it inside, but it's very faint. Hey, Boomer. Oh yeah, stove works great. I've been having some problems with the stove, and I actually just ordered a propane stove, so I'm excited about that. That's a little more like it. Well pump. Let's try the well pump. Haha, that works awesome. 3.6, that probably seems good enough for break-in. I'm probably 30 yards away from it. It's not nearly as quiet as this one. Warming up here because I desperately need to change the oil on it. After I get the oil changed on it, I'm gonna run my shop off of it until it runs out of gas, and then I'll put it up on the shelf. I don't wanna have to drain, I'd rather just run it out than drain it. Shop's a bit of a train wreck. I'm working on a compost bin right now. With some reclaimed material, so I'm gonna clean this up. It's a tough discipline, but cleaning up between projects, kind of a hard reset between before when you start something else, is the best thing I've ever done in my shop. Unfortunately, that project is still in progress, so it feels a little silly, but as I've gotten older and more particular, I like a clean working environment. It's worth it to me. I have changed the oil in one of these before. It was the old one that I had that got stolen. But it's been several years. I don't remember it being complicated. It's a 10mm socket. That oil actually still looks really clean. I use this generator a lot for Hurricane Helene, and I was feeling a little shameful. I didn't break it in, and I didn't have it ready when the storm hit. I had it, I'd never used it, so I had to fill it with oil that morning and use it, and then I lent it to my friend too, and he used it for a couple of days. So there's probably 80 hours of runtime, just about, on this machine, and I didn't do a break-in. I should have, but that oil looks great, so I'm actually really not too worried about that. Bought this as a result of Helene. This little Ryobi light is really, really great. So they come with a funnel, which is great. Perfect. I used to have one of these generators and used it to power an RV I kept as kind of a semi-permanent, like off-grid cabin kind of thing on a piece of property I used to have. And it worked great. It powered that whole RV. It sips gas. I'm really, really impressed with it for what it costs. I saw them on sale not too long ago for like $600, like a lot of value there. I always love throwing out partially used bottles of whatever, because it's like you kept it, you used it, it's done. Kobe. I don't see any real shiny bits or anything in there that would make me worried. A good tip I learned from a channel called 99 Projects is write your oil change intervals just on the piece of equipment you're working on. Then you don't have to try and remember. All right, cool. Here's the inlet on the panel that feeds my shop. Turn the shop off. Here's a little house I built. So I got two of the same cords. I did have to get a 50 amp to 30 amp twist lock adapter on Amazon for, I don't know, 20 bucks, something like that. The breaker is off. Flip the breaker. Right, this goes up. You could hear the generator take the load. The family homestead is running entirely off generator power right now. That feels pretty cool. I've got a good bit of gas and a good bit of propane, so we would be okay for probably a couple of weeks, really. I think the problem I'm running into is it's cold and there's not enough vapor pressure to get enough propane to run the generator effectively. So I'm gonna start it back up after it's had a little bit and see if it can recreate the same issue. This is all it doing, it's figuring itself out. I think this tank froze up. Let's try the other tank. And if that works, we know that when it's cold, we're gonna have to use gas. That was exciting. I got it on the other tank now. There's not a problem with the generator. There's just a problem with using small propane tanks with big loads in the cold, which is not shocking to me, quite frankly, but is a little unfortunate. Look at how convenient that is. I was originally planning on keeping that in the shop, and I thought keeping 200 pounds of propane tanks inside is probably not the best idea. I'm gonna put it over here. There should be a plug over here so I can keep the battery maintainer plugged in. That looks pretty good. This is kind of where some of that junk was earlier. I'm really, really happy with that. Coming near the forks, and take it right over there to where it plugs in. Pretty short trip. Now I really do think it's out of gas, which is great. That's what we wanted. This little generator's house worked really well. I also built it so that it would fit in my shelves. Oh, it's really close. So, put this on the other side. That's all nice and tidy. I like that a lot. Here are a few tips and tricks that I mentioned earlier in the video that I learned going through Helene, and they might come in handy for you at some point in the future too. Water. If you live on a well and you don't have a generator to run that well, water is a big concern for you. I had these and about 10 gallons or so in a few buckets and some other jars and containers when the power went out. It lasted fairly long until we started flushing toilets, and then it lasted no time at all. I've since bought 3 more of these Scepter 20-liter water jugs. They are the best water jugs. I took them down the Grand Canyon when I went in 2015, and they are tough as nails. I also got a little spout that hooks onto this part, which lets you use it almost like a faucet. Basically 35 gallons of potable water, which would last for drinking for quite some time. The other tips that I didn't use that I wish I had known was fill your bathtubs up if you're expecting a power outage. And also you have a lot of water in your hot water heater, which I didn't think about. And they typically have hose drains on them. That'll flush your toilet just fine. So we lost power for 40 hours. A lot of people around here lost power for like 8 or 9 days. It would have been very smart to fill up anything and everything you can with water. Coolers, spare tanks, jars, buckets, whatever you got. Get as much stored up as you can if you know it's gonna go away. Even if it's not just for drinking. Like I needed it for watering my animals and flushing my toilets and then doing the dishes and all that. I also, not pictured here, I got one of those gravity water filters. I think it's an Aqua Pure, and that'll be kind of a backup option. So even if you have a generator and you don't have a way to plug it into your home, you need extension cords. I have a lot more than this. They're being used in various places, but you need a lot of extension cords, way more than you think you need. If that's your plan, like have a small little gas generator and just extension cord to everything, do yourself a favor and buy more extension cords. I think I have like 7 long 50 to 100 foot extension cords, and if I was going to be relying on extension cords as part of my backup plan, I would get like 2 or 3 more than that. If you know you're going to lose power, remember to charge your power brick. I've got a bunch of these kind of scattered throughout my life, and none of them were charged. And even if you've got power, even if you got a generator, these are great as a way to charge your phone wherever, need fewer extension cords, and also like lend them to your friends. Keep those charged. I think it's probably a pretty good idea to have a battery operated light for whatever cordless power tools brand that you like. I have a few. I've got Ryobi, Milwaukee, and DeWalt. I actually don't have one for DeWalt. I guess I should probably fix that. But even if you've got, you know, a more robust option like I have now, being able to have battery operated lights is just great. We used them a lot when the power went out for Helene, and it's amazing the difference just having a little bit of light can do. Cooking. It's nice to have options for cooking. I use a little camp stove in lieu of being able to cook inside, and then once the weather was nice enough to cook outside. You probably won't run out of food, but if there's like a food, particularly with your children, like for me it's milk, that if you don't have it, it's gonna make your life way harder, stock up on it. I got a bunch of freeze-dried milk and a bunch of powdered milk. I've got enough milk to last for a long time. Should anything disrupt the milk supply, because that is peace of mind that's worth it to me, because if my oldest daughter doesn't get milk, she'll become a gremlin. I cooked out here, which is kind of my outdoor kitchen, summer kitchen kind of area on my back porch. Complete side note, get yourself a deep fryer. It's the best. I had a few different options for cooking out here, but what we really use, this just normal stove, which works fine off of a 20-pound bottle. The oven won't work when the power's out. The burners work great. The really nice part about being able to cook outside is it keeps, if it's hot, it keeps all the heat out of the house. A big part of this homestead lifestyle is trying to be more self-sufficient. A big part of that is not relying on anybody else to take care of you when something goes wrong. So give a little thought, spend a little bit of money to get yourself a little bit more ready the next time the power goes out. It might be a really long time. Quite frankly, for me, it's pretty cheap peace of mind. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next video.